yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Hello and welcome back to Taisen Gakko Dropouts. My name is Bakari, and I'm here with my nakama.
Oh, I'm Stew. Oh, I got nothing that good.
And we just watched an anime where we watched it dubbed, and they had a whole lot of Japanese proper nouns.
Oh, boy.
And they were all, well, most of them pretty well pronounced, but the rest of it was very... Oh, anyway, we'll get into it.
Yeah.
We watched Flame of Recca this time, but before we get into that, Stu, how are you?
I'm doing great. You know, everybody should know that is this is the dub of Battle School Dropouts. That there is a sub
which means you're a
version.
fucking casual for watching this one. Actually,
Yeah, exactly.
yeah. We're actually speaking Japanese right now, and you get the subtitles.
You prefer subs over dubs, and yet you listen to Battle School Dropouts in English? Sounds like some poser shit to me.
Oh, do you mean Boku no Hero Academia?
Dude, I don't miss those days. You know, like we were talking about conventions earlier today.
Yeah.
And like we were talking about like there's the Roseville Sack anime, and like it's just voice actor panels from what I can tell. And
That's
like,
right.
I'm not excited about that. But then I was like, well, there's other stuff at conventions that are fun. Like, you know, there's people and all that. And I was like, no, I don't miss talking anime with a lot of strangers. Yeah.
That's definitely, like, I feel like I've always kind of been this way, but especially as I get older, like I still like the things I like an awful lot, you know, anime, Sonic, et cetera, but like I've lost all interest in like talking to most fans about it.
Yeah, like I kind of have a hard time remembering a time where I had fun at a convention with somebody that wasn't someone I was already there with.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Like I have great times at conventions. I want to go again.
Oh yeah, same.
But like I have a great time with my friends and not other people.
Yeah. There's definitely like a certain line where like, and you know, I'm sure we're all guilty of this in some way or another, but like when someone's casually into something, oh yeah, super cool. What's your favorite anime? You like fucking Rurouni Kenshin, Yu Yu Hakusho, Hunter x Hunter, whatever, dope. But like when you get to the person who's like, and can you believe that this studio is doing this? It's like, okay, hold on, back up. Not a reference to Studio Mappa's bad working conditions. Fix that.
Yeah, get that right.
I want to enjoy the next season of Jujutsu Kaisen guilt free. So
guilt free.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I know what you mean. Where like people are like just complaining about whatever thing has been done or whatever. Yeah, I've been spending a lot more time on Reddit lately, and I hate it there.
I was gonna say that doesn't seem like the place to go to be rid of those issues.
No. If anything, it is the opposite, and it is infuriating. Yeah. So in between episodes, the Valentine's Day episode and this episode, I started playing Helldivers 2.
Oh yeah,
much like the rest of the world.
Exactly.
And so I'm so obsessed with that game that like I'm on the Reddit pretty much every day because like there is like a certain level of like cooperation with strangers.
It's true.
So yeah, I'm on the Reddit all the time, and people are just complaining about every little thing. I hate it.
My favorite online complaint-a-thon recently was Princess Peach's Showtime just came out. It's a game starring Princess Peach. You play as Princess Peach. Mario is seemingly nowhere to be seen.
It's like with like the movie that was out and all this other stuff. I'm like, I don't know what Princess Peach's Showtime is.
Yeah, no, it's like you know how there was like Super Princess Peach on the DS. And it was just an adventure game where you play as Peach. It's a little bit like that. But she gets like different costumes. You can become like a sword fighter or a kung fu guy or a detective or a chef. It's
like Final Fantasy X too there.
Yeah.
You know, different outfits.
It's just Final Fantasy X too, yeah. But no, there was when they initially revealed the box art for it, it's, you know, Princess Peach doing a little pose, you know? And then they redid it. They touched it up just a teensy bit. And it's all pretty much the same, except her eyes are just a little different. She's like, in the first one, it's like wide eye, you know, I'm a cartoon character having a good time. And then in the second one, it's like her eyes are this a little bit, like she's doing like more of an action face. You know what I mean?
Got it. Okay.
And like a not insubstantial amount of people got really pissed off about it for some reason. Yeah. Like, how could you do that? It was like, how did you notice, my guy?
How did you go that deep into it? Yeah. Well, it's the thing with like the internet. It's like you're fine until somebody points something out to you, and then and there's a lot of people who are just looking to be mad online. That's the big takeaway. I mean, I know that's every boomer, but like getting off Twitter, it's like I encounter so much less rage.
Oh
that,
yeah,
like,
I'm
that's
sure.
why Reddit was really kind of throwing me for a loop in there. I was like, oh, I haven't experienced this.
What's
in a while.
everyone so mad about?
Yeah.
There's also like a certain level of like people are desperate to be like objectively right about things that don't really have an objective like black and white answer to. So they're like trying to mathematically explain to you why this design is worse, and it doesn't work because like she's just making a slightly different face.
Yeah. And I was really expecting you to say something like worse, like they made her boobs bigger, or they changed some other like terrible feature or something. It's like, that seems pretty mundane. I guess I'll have to look for myself.
I genuinely would not have noticed it if the debacle did not happen online. It was such a tiny thing.
Well, and not to sound like an anti-feminist or something, but like I'm not paying attention to a Princess Peach game.
Why not? I love Super Princess Peach. I just picked up Princess Peach's Showtime. It's a great time so far.
Well, in my defense, I don't really pay attention to Mario games either. So, like, people have been talking about Mario Wonderland.
Wonder, not Wonderland.
Okay,
Wonder.
there we go. See, that's the amount of attention I'm paying. Where people have kind of told me a little bit about it, and that's it.
It is clearly like there are some references to what I can only assume to be like Alice in Wonderland kind of thing. There's a part where like because there's like the singing flowers, and that there's like a level where you get a wonder seed or something like that, and then like everything gets kind of trippy for a little bit. And there's one level where you do that, and all the piranha plants start popping out of the pipes and singing and stuff like that. It's a fun little whimsical game.
That's cute.
It's pretty neat. It's the first one with the new Mario voice actor.
There's a new Mario voice.
Charles Martinet.
Wow, I am so behind.
Yeah, Charles Martinet is no longer the voice of Mario.
Did he choose to retire, or is this like a Kojima, Kiefer Sutherland kind of situation?
I am unsure. I think
did they get like Brad Pitt to be Mario or something?
No, it's like, I mean, no disrespect to the guy. I think he's a perfectly fine. But like, I looked at his IMDb and he was mostly like, I think he was in like Red versus Blue and some other stuff. Like,
okay.
Like mostly like online animations. But he does a fine job. Like if you, other than a couple of like, voice lines that hit the air a little different, I probably wouldn't have noticed,
That's true. I wonder why they changed.
I don't know. Maybe it was a voluntary thing on Martinet's point. I saw him tweet about it or whatever, and it was just him being like, "It's been great voicing Mario. Best of luck to the next guy."
Yeah.
And like, I mean, dude, I don't know how old the guy is, but like, he seems like he's been around the block several times. Like,
yeah,
I'd be sick of saying the same 6 voice lines over and over. You can only say Wahoo so many times,
Says you.
Yeah, it says me. Yeah. That's why I'm not the voice of Mario.
It's so funny too, because like I can't, if it was like a bad thing, like where he was like expecting and then they like replaced him, they just threw him out or whatever.
Yeah.
The dude's so positive, I can't imagine him going to Twitter and being like, these fucking sharks at Nintendo fucking, I gave them all these years and they just ripped me to shit.
Yeah.
It's like, that's never coming out of that man.
Yeah, exactly. Like if he wants more work, I'm sure there's going to be no shortage of it for him. I mean, fuck, if I was like looking for a voice actor for a video game and I saw Charles Martinet was on the market, I'd go for it.
Yeah.
I don't even know what I'd have him do. Just, yeah, of course, fucking Charles Martinet.
I guess my character yells Wahoo now.
I guess so.
Yeah.
He also does like Wario and Waluigi and some other characters.
Yeah.
So.
I'm sure he's done I wonder if he's done any anime.
That's a good question. I would love to watch Charles Martinet anime.
Yeah. There's got to be something that he's.
I want to see him as a plucky teenage shonen protagonist.
God, so do I, dude. Yeah, I still can't get over like there's the anime about like the bootleggers and they're all like Italian immigrants.
Oh,
so
yeah.
The dub has all these anime characters doing like, what do you mean? Like kind of voices.
What are you fucking talking about?
Yeah. God, what a dub.
I've never seen. I think I started. It's Baccano. That's the one, right?
I think so.
Yeah, I started that one because I liked. It was an anime. I think by the same. I have so much cat hair on me.
Oh, yeah.
It was an anime based on a manga by the same person who did this other one called Durarara, which I enjoyed. It's an onomatopoeia for a motorcycle engine.
I always hear people talk about Dororo, and I always confuse it with Dororo and Doro, Hidoro.
Yeah. It's a lot of yeah. There's a few of those.
There's a lot of shows with that sound as a name.
Yeah, but no, I started Baccano and then I was just like, I don't know what's going on. I don't care enough, and then I just turned it off. That's about as far as I got.
You go.
Yeah, maybe I should have watched it dubbed. Maybe it would have been more enjoyable.
Yeah, I mean that was a big. It's like I think it's like a pretty good show, but definitely not like a must watch. But like that dub just kind of ekes it over the edge.
Should have gotten what's his name, Tony Soprano.
Oh God. Oh, could you imagine?
Oh my God, that'd be so good. God, rest in peace to a real one. But
yeah,
I sure wish we could have heard him in an anime at some point.
God, to have any of them even just talk about anime would be. I would love to hear what they think about it.
Literally any of them. You get there's Pussy and there's Paulie. Yeah,
any of those guys. There's a great shot in like the second season of Sopranos where like his son is playing N64 and he picks up the second controller and plays with him, and he just holds the thing in he just one hands it. Which like the N64 controller is the least one-handable controller ever created,
despite having that like middle one that looks like you could. I don't think there's a single game that it's made to do that for.
That could work. Yeah, no, that controller was built for somebody with 3 hands.
Yeah, exactly.
So, one hand, get out of here. Who do you think you are?
Yeah, not the best effort at making the act of playing video games look realistic in a show.
Great moment though.
Oh yeah,
stuck with me. Probably the thing that stuck with me the most out of that show.
Yeah, I've been very slowly making my way through The Sopranos, and so like I saw that episode pretty recently.
There you go.
Just to nobody's surprise, it's a very good show.
Yeah, it's interesting watching it though, because I watched it like a couple years ago for the first time, and it's weird watching like this almost like proto prestige television. You know, where it's like it has all the elements of shows that they'll have in the future, right? Like Mad Men, Breaking Bad, all that.
Yeah.
But like it's just not quite there.
It's the proto is a good way to put that. It's like it's the DNA of prestige television.
Yeah, like there's a lot of
as much of a concept.
A lot of plot lines where like things just don't really go anywhere. Like it's just like it's almost like Monster of the Week. Like, they're getting into some weird silly shenanigan and then it just kind of doesn't go anywhere.
Yeah.
You know?
Which I dig, it's like just story in the life of a very damaged guy.
Very damaged.
Yeah.
Just damaged tattoo, all that jazz. Hey, speaking of damaged, I have been hooked.
Love this segment, by the way.
On all of these terrible DC universe movies lately. I've watched both the Aquaman movies and the Flash in like recently. And like, if you're out there, Bakari, you got to watch The Flash if you haven't watched The Flash.
I have not seen The Flash yet. I saw the first Aquaman. I haven't seen the second one, but that's like the only DC movie. I saw Batman versus Superman, the Snyder Cut, blah, blah, blah. But like, I never saw either the Wonder Woman's. I never saw The Flash.
Like, and I think like most of them are like pretty unremarkable. Like I thought the Aquaman movies were pretty fun or whatever, but like The Flash is such a like rare kind of bad that only the DCU can produce. There's these incredible segments where it's like all of the CG's going around and all this crazy stuff is happening and everyone looks like PlayStation 2 characters.
Wonderful.
Yeah. like not even close to like realistic. You know, like computers can do incredible things and they did not do them with The Flash.
One thing I love about The Flash, both the TV show and the movie, well, the Justice League, which I have seen. I haven't seen the Flash movie, but it seems like this is still the case. Nobody can figure out how to make the Flash running look cool.
Yeah.
Because like the show, they just kind of like do this in front of a green screen most of the time, and then the movie Flash is doing this weird fucking thing with his arms.
Yeah, it's like
strange.
He's ice skating in the movie. I think that's kind of what they're going for.
Oh, like like an Olympic speed skating type of deal.
Yeah. Because it's super speed's weird because in my mind, if I was super fast, it would just make everything feel like it was in slow motion, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of what they're doing for. But like, if I have to get from, let's say, like New York to LA, right?
Yeah.
The Flash can get there super quickly, right?
Yeah.
But you still have but if I'm the Flash, I'm still running from New York to LA.
Oh, you still experience it as though you were doing that in real time.
Right. Like it would feel like it took literal like 100 days,
Yeah,
right?
however long it takes people to. I'm sure someone's done it. Forrest Gump, I don't know how long it took him. 6 weeks, whatever.
I don't know if they ever touched on that, but that just seems insane.
Yeah.
You know? Like that's how do you not go insane?
That's something that they mention in Invincible. Like they kind of touch on because like there's the Flash parallel who like dies in the first episode or whatever. But like
oh yeah.
Yeah, he's like having that conversation with his girlfriend. Here's someone who is in need of help. Like suits up, goes and saves them, comes back before she has finished her sentence, and she realizes that he has only because he forgot to change out of his costume. And like he's like, you gotta understand, like every sentence is a week for me. Like I experience life at such a faster rate than anybody else, but like I'm choosing to spend that like length of time with you. Like that's gotta count for something. And it's like that sounds like a miserable existence.
That sounds terrible.
That sounds horrible.
Yeah.
Not listening to his girlfriend talk specifically, just being
yeah. Well, just like imagine trying to like buy groceries.
Yeah.
And the person start like asking like, "Hey, how's your day going?" Like, kill me.
Yeah.
Just end me now.
He can't even, do the like because our anybody in our generation for the most part, like our reaction to being bored is you pull out your phone and you scroll a social media thing, you play Candy Crush, whatever. But like I'm sure smartphones don't work fast enough for him. He presses a button and waits a day for it to react.
You're literally beholden to like screen refresh too. Like I was thinking like, okay,
can you even watch TV at that point?
Oh, that's a good point. Is there a way to run Doom, like the original Doom, on like a screen that refreshes like once every nanosecond?
Yeah.
Like because you can have Doom play on anything. Is there a screen that can do that?
Yeah, just like a million hertz screen.
Yeah,
so
right.
He can fucking play it.
Yeah. That's the only thing I can think of. The only game I can think of that could keep up with it, like right, like you just like you crank it up to like super speed or whatever, and then he's good. But
I love this this like continuity we're coming up with, where the Flash becomes like the world's greatest speedrunner.
Speedrunner, yeah. He's just
he just like shows up at AGDQ and like beats the entirety of like the whole Kingdom Hearts series in like 30 seconds.
Yeah,
and nobody got to see what happened.
Yeah, well, because you if you just had the game run faster, then you're good.
Yeah, like because the game would have to run faster to keep up with that too. Like,
right. God, that'd be so embarrassing to be the Flash, but you can't speedrun. Excuse me. You're the Flash, but you can't speedrun a video game. It's like, yeah, dude, you're hella fast. That's great, but like, I still got a better time than you on the first level of Sonic Generations. So.
Yeah, he gets bored waiting for the frame perfect inputs.
Yeah.
Like, a 60th of a second is so long.
God, you really would, though, be able to hit every one of those tricks.
Absolutely.
What a waste of super speed.
I know. This guy's got the wrong priorities.
Yeah. Saving people, gross.
Yeah.
If you could have any superpower from a superhero or ability from a character in an anime, what would you go with?
Ooh. That's a tough one. I feel there's a part of me that would just kind of want to be Goku, because like who doesn't want to be Goku?
Yeah. I was gonna start hitting you with some like would you like if you could have them? Would you want flight?
Yeah.
Would you want flight? Would
like
you want
given the
strength?
option, flight? Yes, no. Yeah, I'll take flight.
Yeah. Super strength.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, super strength would be cool.
Super strength, the key blast. Something. It's such a like it shows up for 20 seconds in like a random just whatever episode of Dragon Ball Z. I think it's like when Goku is on the ship to Namek. He uses telekinesis.
Oh,
he like levitates something, and you're like, oh. Goku's had this ability the whole time. He has no need for it.
I know.
Like, what could he do with telekinesis that he couldn't do faster and better just with his own two hands?
Right. Well, and to have like the fact that he has like super speed essentially.
Exactly.
Yeah, he really is Superman.
He can. Superman. Superman can move at close to the speed of light or whatever, but like Goku can literally instantaneously transmit himself somewhere.
Oh,
not to fall into the whole Goku versus Superman thing, but like. Goku literally like one instant is somewhere, next instant is a galaxy away, you know?
Yeah. Well, that's the funniest thing about like Dragon Ball Z is like Goku just becomes insanely powerful. It's like, how do you keep that show going? You have to fight other dimensional Gokus.
Exactly.
And whatnot. Like, all right.
That's pretty much how it goes.
Pretty much it. Yeah.
I've talked to a few people who were upset with. I don't know how much Dragon Ball Super you've watched. I haven't even gotten. Oh, you haven't seen any Dragon Ball Super?
You know, I think I brought it up on a previous podcast, but I also have never like watched all the way through Dragon Ball Z.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
It's good. It's a good.
I actually you go where you're gonna go.
Sure.
I was about to derail it.
Well, the only thing I was saying was like, because you know how do you deal with Goku being Goku, and like eventually Dragon Ball Super made the decision like, okay, well, other people haven't just been sitting still, they're also training, they're also working just as hard as Goku, blah blah blah. Like, so naturally they have like leveled up to the point, maybe they're not at Goku's level, but like people have like reached heights that like, you know, would have been able to say take on Buu Saga Goku or something like that.
Yeah.
And I've talked to people who were upset by this. They were like, well, Goku's power level is higher because he's a Saiyan, he turns Super Saiyan. It's like, that's not the point of the show, is that the alien, the Saiyans are the true superior race. That's like not the fucking point, actually. Yep. Like Goku is a commoner among the Saiyans. He, like, by any right, he should not have been able to reach the levels. That's the whole fucking point of him turning Super Saiyan before Vegeta does. Vegeta has a whole goddamn meltdown about the fact that Goku hits Super Saiyan and Vegeta, the Prince of the Saiyans, can't do it yet. I'm just mad at nerds today. I'm just mad.
Just
mad at nerds.
Coming for the nerds,
yeah.
Man. It's a good thing we're not going to Sac Anime in Roseville.
Yeah.
We'd be taking it to all these nerds.
It's a good thing we're not trying to get people to watch us talk about anime. That would be a problem.
Yeah, right. Yeah. What kind of fans do we want? I don't know. People who don't like anime.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I mean, I think we do a good job with that in the fact that we title the episode of our show an anime and then don't talk about the anime for 45 minutes.
Exactly. Yeah, that's really great viewer retention. I
think. Yeah. we really tease you along, you know.
Yeah.
I was looking up because we watched Flame of Recca.
That's right.
Today, and I was like Googling like when we were setting everything up here. I was like, oh, it'd be cool to like put on a video in the background that's like about the show, or like you just get some more information, maybe somebody's opinion or something like that. And I Googled it and I could find the show on YouTube, which I feel like is an immediate like nobody gives a shit about this show. If you could just post it on YouTube, like you can't get away with anything on YouTube.
Yeah,
and all 42 episodes are up there so far as I could tell.
Maybe it was a situation where, well, no, because it's Studio Pierrot or whatever. So like, I feel like maybe the publisher or whatever was just like, yeah, fuck it, throw it up there, like the Donkey Kong Country cartoon.
Totally, except it was like by like Toby Harris.
Oh, okay.
I'm
well,
like, there's no way that's the guy who made the show.
Yeah, unlikely.
Yeah. It was like, and I can find like hella clips, and it's funny too because like so the show's on Crunchyroll and Retro Crush, and like they have uploaded videos of the show on their channel, but like are just not concerned at all about the fact that it's just also on YouTube.
Yeah, nobody's paying for Crunchyroll premium to watch Flame of Recca. I'm afraid.
Yeah, or nobody's sitting through the ads on Retro Crush to watch the show because it's all on YouTube.
Yeah.
You can watch it in Tagalog on YouTube.
There you go.
It's everything.
That's, you mentioned you were trying to learn Tagalog. That maybe that's your way in.
That's
watching through this show.
I can speak Tagalog. However, I can only talk about like ninjas and all this other stuff like that.
Which, I mean, that's primarily what you would be trying to talk to people about. That's pretty much how we speak English anyway.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just trying to talk about anime at all times, so it's
exactly
basically the same. Yeah. I was gonna say with Dragon Ball Z, there's very few shows that I have finished that are like really long.
Yeah.
And I was realizing, so I finished Gilmore Girls a few months ago, and that was like 160 episodes.
Damn.
And that's probably the longest show I've ever finished.
Yeah. That's just a few more episodes longer than Hunter x Hunter, I think.
Yeah, and I haven't finished Hunter x Hunter. Yu Yu Hakusho, I think, only gets to like 120.
Does it?
Something.
I thought it was in the... Oh, yeah, because on Hulu, they only have like... the first 2 seasons, which I think takes you all the way through the Dark Tournament, but then there's the whole thing afterwards.
Yeah, there's the stuff after the Dark Tournament,
Yeah.
and and I finished that, but so I can't remember how many episodes it was, but that was the longest show I had finished prior. I probably watched 100-something episodes of Hunter x Hunter, but
you got through the Chimera Ant arc, didn't you?
I got towards the end, and then I love dubs, but the dub wasn't doing it for me. There was like too much dissonance with what the character I like subs and dubs.
Yeah.
I like watching a show in English with the Japanese subtitles, right?
Yeah.
And to me, that's like best of both worlds. And I was noticing that what they were saying in English and what the subtitles were, I'm like, that's very different meanings.
Yeah.
And so I was just like, all right, I guess I should just watch the sub, because the what they were saying in English, I was like, this doesn't make sense.
Yeah, a lot of the subtitle tracks for anime I find they use the subs from the Japanese over the English dub, which are like 2 different translations, I guess.
Yeah.
Because it's like more or less the same meaning. Like someone's like, I have ascended to a new power level, and then the subtitles are like, my power level has grown, or something. It's like same idea, very different phrasing.
Yeah. Because I mean, when you have to dub, you also have to take into account like how long these people are speaking and things like that. You know, and I guess one of the major things is like in like Western audiences really care about mouths matching the voice that's coming out, like you know, versus like I guess in Japanese, if you're watching it, the mouth just open up and down, and it doesn't necessarily line up with what they're saying. At least that was the case for a long time. I don't know if that's still the case because everything's so fancy now, but who knows? But yeah, it just didn't bother audiences. They're like, yeah, his mouth's moving. All right. That's why, like, to this day, like, even Speed Racer in Japanese still looks weird, you know?
Yeah, it still looks
like, it just
wrong.
doesn't quite line up with what they're trying to say and all that, but...
Yeah. Well, you know, maybe it's a technology thing, like editing it's gotten a lot easier. I don't know.
Everything's so digital now, too, that I got to figure, like... They've got like just like a library of mouths or something, and
yeah,
at this point maybe even like AI stuff can like just figure out like, yeah, all right, he's speaking and this is what the mouth looks like. All right, we'll do the rest for you for like not close-ups and things like that.
Yeah, I had a similar thought when I was playing through Final Fantasy X. I noticed that because I was playing it in English. I've been going back and forth between like one of them I'll play in English, one of them I'll play in Japanese, but now that I'm on Final Fantasy IX, it doesn't matter because there's no voice acting from here on out. But yeah, like the voice, like the mouths on the and this is the PS4 version, like the 10.2 HD collection or whatever. The mouths perfectly match what they're saying in English, like the shapes of the mouth and like the timing and everything is perfect. So I was like, is this like a machine learning thing, or did they really have some, or like probably a team of people like go through and actually change all the mouth flaps to perfectly match the dialogue?
So that's actually, I know in role-playing games that have a ton of dialogue, they have programs that just, you insert the text or the voice line, and it just knows what shape to make the mouth.
Yeah, interesting. I didn't think about that.
And so then it's like, you just set like, okay, this is what they're saying, this is the emotion they should have, and then I'm going to have them do hand movement 1 into hand movement 2. Okay, that's the conversation.
That makes a lot of sense, actually.
I watched a video that was basically talking about Mass Effect Andromeda and how it was like kind of a shit show on release, and like while they couldn't confirm it, one of the ideas was like something might have been wrong with their like that side of things, like that whatever part of their program that like let them just automatically do things with mouths was like not working right. and they didn't have the time to like go in and fix it all, you know, before it's like released. So
yeah, I mean, I'm sure there's just got to be such a laundry list of like those things that are, you know, not 100% necessary for the game to run, but also like, you know, people are going to notice. And especially with like how fucked like these, you know, I can only imagine BioWare doesn't have like the most generous of like production timelines. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, and especially since they're owned by EA and whatnot. And so it's like, nope, this game is coming out this day, we don't care. We just need this quarter to look better.
Yeah.
So release the game.
We've got a million people like already hyped out of their minds to buy it because they, saw the clip on the Game Awards or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and it's crazy too. Like, I've been watching this show called This Week in Games. It's from a channel called Skill Up, and it's like I've been watching it for like the last month or so, and it's really given me some insight into like big AAA games.
Yeah.
I had no idea that they had gotten as expensive as they were. Like all of them. Like I figured something like that had like celebrities or something in it. It's like, okay, that's a more expensive game. But then like Spider-Man 2 came out, and it's like that game could have cost anywhere in the range of like $250 to $500 million.
Yeah.
And who even knows about like marketing?
Yeah. Exactly. I have to imagine marketing gets put into the overall budget, but like, you never know with these kind of things.
Well, like with movies, the budget that they say, you either double it or you add 50% to account for the marketing. So if you see like a movie like the Avengers, right, that maybe cost like $250 million to make, they probably also spent $250 million on marketing.
That's
so in
crazy.
total, it's like $500 million. Wow. Yeah,
so much money.
So much fucking.
It's more than I make in a year.
Yeah, and it's crazy to me that movies cost that much. And now video games do as well.
Yeah.
I
mean, there's like, it's Bakari's Mad at Nerds Day. There's so many people on Twitter who will like, pick up some new game and like, they'll try to find like the simplest little thing. Like, they'll shoot a basket of apples or whatever. And it's like that basket of apples didn't explode photorealistically, garbage game, unplayable. And it's like, why?
Yeah. Well,
put a JPEG of apples in the thing. I don't give a shit.
Not to be Stu Defends Terrible Nerds Day, but no. I think like in a lot of ways, if you just like I knew a guy who bought into all the hype that would come out for a game.
Yeah.
He pre-ordered the special edition of No Man's Sky. And that was a rough release, right? He pre-ordered like every game that came out, and he talked about how excited he was. And it's like, I think there's a lot of people out there who totally live on that hype. And if you buy into the hype, every game is talking about how like, we're going to have this system, we're going to have all this crazy stuff. And then when it doesn't, and then like, for me, it's like when they say that, I'm like, okay, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
But for a lot of people, they're taking these like giant companies that want you to spend money and will say anything to do it at their face.
Yeah.
And it's like, you can't, like at a certain point you got to learn. I don't know, but
there's also this just sort of like, it just sort of comes from video games being this like intersection of like art and tech in the way that like, not to say that that's not the case for movies and stuff, but I feel like that's like games are the most exemplary of this, like where a lot of people look at games in the same way that rather than, looking at like, oh, this media that I enjoy, stories and stuff, like they think of it as like, oh, it's the new iPhone, it's the new MacBook, it's the new insert, tech thing.
Yeah.
Where like it has to be like have this mathematically quantifiable better thing than the one before it, even if it was just last year's version, like running on the same hardware and everything.
Yeah, like when you release a new game, you can't just release a similar tech kind of game. Like you have to be improving things that aren't necessarily just gameplay.
Yeah.
Right. And it's just like not sustainable, really.
It's not.
Like at a certain point, like our eyes can't tell when something like looks way better. You know? How much dev time do you need to put into the exploding apples or or like the objects on a table or whatever? It's like, what are we doing?
Yeah. And like I'm so just sort of like mired in like the modern world of like, AA type games. Like I love the Atelier series of JRPGs, and like the newer ones, the Atelier Ryza series, it's much more like high fidelity than, the previous ones. But like even still, you can tell like this was not the kind of game like the Red Dead Redemption 2, like make everything look super pretty and realistic all the time. It's like, yeah, I mean, it's a you're gonna be an anime girl, you're gonna make potions and other such things.
Yeah,
that's fine. You know,
and
not
yeah.
everything has to look super realistic. So
100%.
yeah, like I know my priorities are not in the same place where a lot of other people's like priorities are on that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Real quick, we were talking about Dragon Ball like 10 minutes ago or whatever, but
Dude, we can't talk about anime on this anime podcast.
yeah, absolutely not.
Move forward the conversation about video games, please.
Hold on. Not necessarily, but I want to say we can't be an anime podcast and not say rest in fucking peace, Akira Toriyama.
Oh, God, yeah.
Such a just sad day to find out that happened.
I know. It's like one of those things where like you forget that he had to die at some point. You know,
yeah.
It's like when it happened, I'm like, but how? You know, like he's like an eternal spirit. You know?
Yeah, and that's the thing. He wasn't even that. I mean, he was like late 60s, like 68, something like that. And like, you know, like plenty of people die around that time. But like, you know, it was just this kind of out of nowhere. He wasn't like fighting cancer or anything. He's just like blood clot in the brain. Just
yeah.
Yeah, it's just such a crazy thing. I was driving home from here and where we are now to where I live, half an hour away. And I stopped at Willie's to grab a burger or something. It was like midnight or something. And I opened my phone while I'm waiting for my order to be called. And just like my whole fucking Twitter feed is like, Toriyama's dead.
Yeah.
It was crazy. Yeah, fucking rest in peace, dude. That's sucks.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. It's like, it's wild to have somebody be so influential on their stuff, have such a distinct style, but like you never get tired of it.
Yeah.
You know?
It was it's so pervasive. Like I've been seeing Toriyama art ever since I was little. Before I knew what anime was, I was seeing Toriyama art all over the place, you know?
Yeah. And it's like I don't really play the Dragon Warrior games, but like I like how they look.
Yeah.
And they've kind of looked very similar the whole time. So
yeah.
Like, I love it, you know?
Totally.
I'm here for it. Yeah, it's definitely a sad thing to see.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Did you see to derail us back into something dumb? Did you see the person who posted the like, you know, rest in peace Toriyama, but he had like an AI image of it. So it was like all these characters that like if you just looked at it, you're like, you know, it's him and he's like surrounded by all these Dragon Ball Z characters. You're like, oh wow. And then you look a little closer, you're like, these aren't Dragon Ball Z characters.
Ooh, I think I did see that.
It's like, wait, who's this weird green turtle man? Hold on.
Like you like glance at it. It's like, yeah, there's Piccolo, there's Gohan, there's okay, cool. And then
you're just kind of looking like, none of these are guys.
Yeah.
What? Yeah.
That's sort of like the insidious but also really funny part of AI is that like or generative, you know, image AI type stuff is like you'll see a picture and when you just glance at it, you're scrolling through whatever and it's just like, yep, that's a picture, moving on. Yeah. But then like you stop and you look at it, it's like, oh, that person's fingers are melting into the steering wheel and there's like 6 radios on the console for some reason.
Yeah.
And outside like the sky is like melting into the ground and stuff.
Yeah, it's made me paranoid about every image that I look at now.
Yeah.
Where I'm just like, all right, what's the problem? Like, this looks really clean. Where's the issue? Where do I figure out that this is AI?
Totally. It sucks that like I feel like there's certain styles that like were originally by people.
Yep.
That like, you know, I see them now and I'm like, that's an AI image. And like, even if I don't have any real reason to believe that, I'm just like, I hate that there's that like part of me that flinches looking at a pretty picture going like, it's probably just made by a computer. I don't want to fucking think about that.
Yeah. And it stinks that you can't just enjoy something being cool. Right? Yeah. Like AI has this like really bad stink about it in the fact that it has like basically taken from artists and made incredibly derivative work.
Yeah.
And especially made derivative work for grifters and shitty tech bros.
Yeah, like that's the thing is like I'm, you know, as annoying as the like let people enjoy things people are, like, you know, in this instance, like there's so many people like at the gates waiting for just like a little bit of ground so that they can fucking like completely unseat an entire industry of artists and creators and things like that. And it just sucks.
Yeah. No, I watched a YouTube short that just popped up that was like this guy was talking about the controversy about Crunchyroll using AI to subtitle its shows.
Oh yeah.
And he was talking about like, well, you know, this is the way things are going. I think this could be a really good technology. And, you know, people are going to lose their jobs, but, you know, that's the way it is. I'm like, what a fucking callous thing. Like, what do you get out of these people losing jobs? They're not going to lower the cost of your Crunchyroll subscription if the AI subtitles it. Like, why are you excited about this? Why do you revel, or not necessarily revel, but like, why do you not care that people are losing jobs? Like, what could have been really cool jobs, you know?
Yeah.
Why do we have this technology replacing the cool jobs?
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's just like, I just really can't get into the whole mentality of like, because like there's some people who are like, you know, pretty soon I can just type in Goku and Naruto fighting in the Dark Tournament and it'll just make that and I get to watch it forever if I want to, you know, like that doesn't sound like any kind of fun. I saw someone say it best, like nobody cared enough to make it. Why should I care enough to watch it? You know?
Yeah. Yeah. It's like, and I like playing around with that stuff.
Sure.
It's just like you have to have a reason why you're doing something. Like, like it's fun to just type in, like Goku versus Superman into the AI thing and watch it spit something out. But that loses its novelty after a certain point. So why are we pushing so far into this technology that is just good for making Goku fight Superman? They should be best friends.
They should be best friends. Yeah. Real recognize real, honestly.
Yeah.
I lost interest in making the AI pictures the second they started looking decent. Like
yes,
that first wave of like DALL-E or whatever.
Yeah,
I typed in Barack Obama playing a Nintendo GameCube in a McDonald's play place and just got like this horrible mess.
Yeah,
and I was like, this is exactly what I wanted. Thank you.
Once I liked there was this beautiful middle ground where it was like coherent enough to not just like spit random colors at you, but also just didn't quite understand how tall people were supposed to be or like how many arms they were supposed to have. I had a similar thing, like Master Chief hanging out with his buddies and it was just Master Chief in a bar, but like his armor was always kind of fucked.
Yeah.
He was great.
There's some really like good kind of photorealistic one. Like there was somebody typed in like salmon swimming upstream or something like that. And it generated exactly that, but they were salmon fillets like you would see at a grocery store. They weren't fish.
See, that's that's the whole thing is like AI sucks because it's like it's stealing from people and it's also replacing really cool jobs and like, but man, I wish like we were just in that post-capitalist society now. Like let me see the computer do silly things.
Yeah.
You know, let me enjoy this without having to be like, but in the back of my head, like I am, you know, burning down trees essentially. I am making the world a worse place by enjoying this thing.
Nothing's easy anymore.
Fuck, dude.
It's a goddamn shame.
Yeah, well, yeah. It's just it's a good thing that anime doesn't have any kind of controversies around it.
There's no problems with anime.
You can just watch that and guilt free. There's no issues there.
Yeah,
or anything.
And everybody's really nice and cool.
So
about
nice
it
and cool
as well. So that's good.
We haven't said anything mean today.
Of course not. And if we did, you deserved it.
You had it coming. You've been relaxing too long. Battle School Dropouts is coming for you. But we mean that in the nicest way.
I don't.
Yeah, I don't either.
I'm as hostile as I sound about it.
I'm more hostile than I sound.
Damn.
Yeah.
Just one up me here.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Stu is more hostile, actually. I'll give him that one.
It is funny. Like, I feel like between the two of us, it's like I feel like oftentimes like you will be like louder than me like in certain places, but I'll jump to anger like way more quickly and like hatred over something, you know, like you'll be like, oh, I thought that was fine. I'll be like, I fucking hate this thing.
That's like just like a biological problem with me. Like I cannot talk quietly. I didn't realize that was a problem I had until like a few people pointed it out. Like Felicia pointed out to me like, yeah, even at your quiet, and I know you're trying to be quiet, but like unless you are like whispering without using your vocal cords, then like it's loud as fuck. The quietest I can be is this. Like this is me trying so hard.
Yeah.
And like I'm pretty sure Bernadette can hear me right now in the other room.
It's traveling. That's pretty funny.
Thank you. Bernadette confirms she can't hear me in the other room.
There we go.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just, I can't not be loud. I don't mean to be. I don't feel like an especially loud person, but that's just how it is.
It's fine. Yeah. I mean, unless you're in a situation where you have to hide.
Yeah.
You know, you'd be a terrible ninja.
That's,
it
hurts to hear, but it's the truth.
Yeah. Hard pill to swallow.
Yeah, exactly. But, I got to be realistic about this kind of thing.
But, I mean, it's totally fine. Because I go I can be talking at like a normal volume or whatever, and I will just leap to hatred so quickly. Yeah, especially with like inanimate objects, anime, stuff like that. I've mellowed out a bit more. I feel like I like in these later years here, like now that we're like 30, it's like I can kind of be more like, this just isn't for me. Yeah, this isn't my thing. I think we have that a lot on this show.
Oh sure.
We're like, I didn't care for it, but every once in a while there's that show.
That's true. You do, like, there's some where I just do the like, yeah, not my thing, and you're just like, I fucking hated this one.
Yeah.
Like, wow. I can't imagine this eliciting like any sort of strong emotions one way or the other, but
Yeah.
You said on the first episode you're the one who hates.
I'm the one who hates. Yeah. Don't be deceived. I'm the one who hates.
I don't know if I updated the podcast. I finished Better Call Saul.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm completely done with that.
I still haven't finished it.
Should. It's very good.
I was rewatching it, and there's a thing that happens in the 4th season that is set up in the 1st season, and I couldn't handle it. So that's like not super.
Can we? I mean, the show's a few years old now.
Skip ahead 30 seconds if you don't want.
Yeah, we'll put up a spoiler tag or something.
There's when he's there's the lady who won't sign the thing or whatever, the old lady and the old folks, and he turns all the people against her. I can't watch it. I can't watch people be mean to old people.
That was rough. Did you see how that like resolves?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I haven't seen the most recent season, but I was rewatching it and it got me thinking about that. I was like, no, I can't do it.
Yeah.
No, poor old lady.
That was a real bummer. Like, there's so many instances of him like realizing he went too far and then like dialing it back or like trying to fix it in some way. And obviously he doesn't completely fix it, but yeah, that one was like. That was a moment, like every other scheme he got up to, I was like, that's Jimmy.
He's a wacky guy.
Yeah, he's a little trickster. He's a troublemaker.
Yeah.
But that one was like too far, man.
Too far.
Yeah,
I know. It's so sad. Yeah. Great show, though.
Holy shit. Wonderful show. It definitely never hits like the tense highs, like the high octane, like, tension of like Breaking Bad at any point, but what is there is just really, really good. Rhea Seahorn, I think her name is. She's his love interest, partner in crime, Kim Wexler. She is in a couple episodes of the last season of Veep.
Okay.
She's house doctor man. What's his name? The actor's name?
Hugh Laurie.
Hugh Laurie. She's Hugh Laurie's like assistant, and I was just like, yep, that's a person. I love her character and how she portrays her in Better Call Saul. Like, I mean, favorite character by far.
Everybody kills it. Like even all the minor characters and whatnot. That show, it's like it shouldn't work, and it totally does.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think if there's any other like prestige television shows that I'm like into. Like I feel like Better Call Saul is like the most recent one where I'm like, yeah, that's just solid all the way through.
Yeah.
And then now I got to go back and watch Sopranos. And all, like,
yep.
Yeah.
Never ends.
Like I want to rewatch Mad Men because there's just nothing out right now that's making me go like, oh shit, that's fucking like I love Invincible, but that's kind of a different thing.
Yeah, like what do you call that? Prestige animation? Like I don't really know what the outside of anime,
prestige
I don't really know what you call that. Yeah. What was it? There's that new Shogun show on Hulu. I started an episode. We watched the first episode of that.
Did you know that's a remake or something?
Remake?
Yeah, somebody at work was telling me about that.
Oh, really? I had no. I figured it was based on a book or something. But,
yeah, it's like apparently like really, really close to the original. Too,
no way.
Which I was like really surprised by.
Yeah, that is a surprise.
Yeah.
Oh, shit, the more you know.
The more you know. Yeah.
Yeah, but that shows the first episode of it. Pretty good.
Pretty good. Yeah. Okay. Now in the show Shogun, do they have ninja?
I haven't
have-
seen any ninja yet. It's mostly samurai
no ninjas?
at this
Okay.
point. It's mostly samurai at this point. I guess we have to pronounce the Japanese word super correct for some
Super
reason.
great. Yeah. Yeah. You know, we never heard samurai in the dub.
This
here.
is not a samurai show. This is a ninja
No,
show.
Absolutely. Do we want to move into the anime here? Was my transition good, or do you want to?
I'm like trying to think
on.
if there's. I was gonna bring something up. I like when we were talking about what do we want to talk about this episode. I mentioned I've been doing this, and now I can't remember what that is.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I can't remember either.
That's okay.
I'll get mine out of the way real quick. I
Yeah,
played
go for it.
Helldivers 2. I loved it.
Yeah, Helldivers is a lot of fun.
I'm still playing it.
I've definitely played a lot less than you, but yeah, that is a wonderful time.
All right. Did I give you enough time there to figure out what you wanted to?
No, I just started thinking about Helldivers.
Yeah, great game.
I saw Saltburn.
Oh,
I watched the movie Saltburn with Barry Keoghan. I don't know how to pronounce his name. I'm so sorry. I've never heard it said out loud.
He's gonna hear this. He's gonna be so mad.
Yeah, he's one of our biggest fans.
Yeah, he's like, I could
back
deal
down to 38 subscribers.
I could deal with all the hatred of other nerds, but too far.
That's
now.
that's where I draw the line.
Yeah.
No, that was a very interesting movie because it's like it's been so like people hate it, people think it's the best, like there's so much, it's polarized so many different ways, and I'm just like, I don't know how I felt about it.
Yeah.
I thought it looked great. I thought Barry Keoghan did a pretty good job. I'm just gonna say Keegan. Yeah. I like Rosamund Pike. She's Jane in Pride and Prejudice.
Oh, okay.
She's in it. I thought she was very good. The shock stuff is just like
yeah.
I was telling you earlier. There's the scene with the bathtub, and the whole time I was just like, we did this in the Talented Mr. Ripley, and a lot more tastefully than what goes on in that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a funny thing to feel very like I don't know how I feel about a movie after watching it, you know? Like
Yeah.
usually I have an opinion on the movie and like that might change, but you know, I know how I feel. But have you ever seen Only God Forgives with Ryan Gosling? Same guy, same director who did Drive.
Oh no, but that sounds up my alley.
It's a cool slow burn, very neon movie. I got through the whole thing. I was like, I don't know how. Like I had to spend like 2 days thinking about that movie, and now I'm like, I like it, but I say that with like a lot of like reservations.
That sounded like a question mark. I like it.
I like it. Yeah, it just really sticks with you in a terrible way.
Yeah. Yeah.
Saltburn. I've only seen the infamous tub scene.
Yeah, and like honestly, much like the Talented Mr. Ripley, it's not super important to the plot or anything like that. That never comes up again. It's just, Barry Keoghan's character being real weird.
Being a weird dude.
Yeah. It's worth a watch. I'm not going around telling people like, yeah, check it out, it's the best. But like,
Yeah.
much like Sign of Affection, if you enjoy looking at pretty pictures, and don't mind some questionable writing here and there, and other things, check out some content warnings if you find yourself squeamish around certain acts.
Yeah.
Then yeah, this it is a movie you can watch.
Saltburn is, you know, it goes right in our category. It's right next to Demon Slayer.
Yeah.
Saltburn and Demon Slayer. Those are things that you can watch.
They both sit proudly on the echelon of it is a thing you can watch.
Yep. Saltburn's not on Crunchyroll. Though,
No,
right?
not
Okay.
yet. Yeah,
Not
sure.
yet.
I'm sure it's coming soon.
Studio Mappa's Saltburn.
Yeah, I think it's on Prime. I think you can watch it on
Yeah,
Prime
that sounds
Video.
right.
Yeah,
The video streaming service. I always forget I have somebody's account.
exactly. Yeah.
Well, speaking of things that you can watch, today we watched Flame of Recca,
That's right.
or depending on which character is talking, Rika.
Yeah, that happened I feel like that happened a couple times in like the first episode, and then we didn't hear Rika. Or did you hear Rika again?
I think I heard it a few times.
Okay.
But like I think every once in a while it'll come up and I'll be like,
Who said that? Yeah.
outside of that. Yeah. So we watched the dub of this show because that's what they had on Retro Crush.
Indeed.
And then we had to sell out, and we went from Retro Crush to Crunchyroll because I have a Crunchyroll account and I don't have a Retro Crush, and there were a lot of ads.
21 ads for one episode. No.
Yeah, that's a lot. Yeah.
many.
Like when you're in the middle of the episode and it says 1 of 7, I'm like, I can't.
That
Ooh.
it feels worse when they tell you how many ads there are
I know.
going to be. Like I feel like I would have hated that, because on TV, like I feel like 7 commercials was like fairly normal.
Yeah.
You had a couple longer ones and a couple 10, 15 second ones.
Yeah.
Right? But if they were to tell me like, oh, this is ad 3 of 7 every time, like I would have been so much less patient with commercial breaks back in the day.
Well, and I mean, we're so spoiled these days. Like I really I watch I've had YouTube Premium for I want to say 10 years at this point.
Yeah.
Almost as long as you could have it. And so every time I'm on YouTube and an ad comes up, I'm like, what the fuck is this?
What's going on here?
What the I didn't even know this was an option, Like when I see people complain about ads on YouTube, I sometimes I'm just like, oh yeah, okay. I sound like the fucking, Mr. Burns of YouTube here, but
this is for the poors. Take it away.
Yes. Yeah, so we had to jump ship over to Crunchyroll, which it's on there too. It's also on fucking YouTube, which we could have done as well.
Yeah, I guess so. Wouldn't have had ads there either.
But yeah, so Flame of Recca is about a teenage ninja who is...
teenage what now?
Oh, excuse me. Ninja.
Thank you.
Ninja, who is learning that there's bad dudes out there and they want to hurt him and they want to hurt his not girlfriend, which he calls Princess. I can't remember her real name.
Her name is Yanagi. I cannot remember her last name.
No, that's fine.
Yeah.
And so he's kind of learning his abilities and whatnot, and he's fighting different people that some might be friends, some might not be friends. And it's and he has the power to summon flames.
Yeah.
He's kind of a firebender. Yeah. So it is the Flame of Recca.
Exactly.
Yeah. What did you think of Flame of Recca? I keep wanting to say Flames of Recca, and if I say
just the
Flame of Recca enough times, it'll stick.
It's just the right hand, I think, with the little gauntlet on it.
Yeah, with the gauntlet.
Yeah.
Which we see when he's a kid, and it's a little gauntlet.
Yeah, like it grew with him somehow.
I don't think they thought through that shot, though.
Evidently not.
No.
Yeah, that or he had several gauntlets to change into as he grew into them. Flame of Recca, ever since I was in middle school, has always had been in my periphery. I knew a little bit about it. I would see pictures from it or whatever. I rented or borrowed a couple books from the library, volumes of the manga from the library. But they were in the middle of the fucking thing, just 2 different tournament arcs going on.
Yeah, you were saying volume 5 and 13.
Yeah, something like that. This book, he's fighting a guy. I remember 2 battles from it. There's one where he's fighting a guy. It's something the patient or something the forgiving or something Juzo the patient or whatever. And his thing is you can hit him 3 times. He will not retaliate. He's just a very Zen monk type guy. You hit him that 3rd time and he switches into attack mode and then he's real vicious, which is kind of, I think Recca cuts off his arm or something like that, and then he's like, yeah, I'm chilling, and then Recca punches him and he's like, I'm gonna kill you fucking shit now. Which is very strange. And then there's another one where he fights a copy ninja who steals all of Rekka's fire techniques, and then Recca defeats him by inventing a new fire technique because he can't steal it that fast.
That's excellent.
Yeah, that part, I remember that part being pretty cool. Anyway, point is, I've been aware of this for so long that watching the anime, I feel there was no possible timeline in which the anime satisfies the decades of curiosity I've had about it.
Totally.
But that being said, it was fun. It's some good old shonen schlock, which I feel we haven't had much of recently.
Yeah, schlock is the right word for this. This is I put on the new School Dropouts Instagram. We have Yu Yu Hakusho at home and a picture of this. Like, there were so many times where we were just pointing at the screen and like being like, so that guy's the Kuwabara. Okay, who's the Botan? Like, you know, we were really, because like there's so, it's not one for one, but there are so many similarities. There's a dude who has, who's like the water user of this. And he is so
water
much,
Kurama.
Yeah, and it's like they just traced Kurama.
Yeah,
you know, like he looks so similar.
They made his ponytail less fluffy. That's and his hair is like silver instead of red.
Yeah, they made a more boring Kurama.
Yeah,
they did.
Which is crazy. Like if you're gonna rip off Kurama, go harder, not less hard. I feel
right. Yeah, it in many ways this show made me like Yu Yu Hakusho more. I was like, wow, they really did the right things in Yu Yu Hakusho. Wow, they really had these characters figured out.
Yeah,
you know?
It made me really appreciate how much sauce the Yu Yu Hakusho cast has compared to this. Like, I remember when I first saw Yu Yu Hakusho on Toonami or Adult Swim or whatever it was on, you know, way back in the day. I remember thinking like, oh, that Yusuke guy, kind of boring, like compared to, you know, like just the way he looked. He's in a school uniform, he's got slick back hair, that's about it. Like I remember thinking just like, yeah, whatever, that's a guy. Recca does a lot more, like there's a lot more going on with Recca's character design, but it's not nearly as good as Yusuke's.
No, yeah,
well, that's the case for like all the characters and their parallels.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, and it's interesting too because it Yu Yu Hakusho kind of moves kind of slow at the beginning, right? Like it's very kind of monster of the week at the start. You don't really get into the tournament stuff until like the 8th episode or so.
Oh,
like that
I think it's way further than that.
Well, I mean like the first like tournament where like Genkai is like having people do different tasks and whatnot.
Yeah.
That's not even necessarily like a tournament, but there is like a big fight at the end.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. I think there is like a sort of very similar to the Hunter exam in Hunter x Hunter. There's like a little tournament that takes place over a couple episodes.
Yeah. And it's like it's not the tournament, obviously. Yeah. But you know, there's stuff like that. But like leading up to that, it's like, you know, he's like a ghost for a while.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, it's several episodes before he comes back.
Yeah.
Which I think is good.
Yeah, and it's like by comparison, like Flame of Recca like moves a lot quicker. In terms of like, I feel really close to this, like, you know, this big tournament that's coming up or something, you know? But at the same time, the show felt so much like it still somehow felt slow, and the characters never got a chance to like do anything, right? Like the Kuwabara stand-in is like, I usually love the big muscle dude with no brains.
Yeah.
Like that's usually my favorite character in anime. I could not care less about this guy. I was so amped to like him.
Domon, I think his name is.
That sounds right, yeah.
Yeah. I feel like what I did enjoy about him was more because he was such a shorthand for Kuwabara. Like, because you meet him, like, he's like he's in the very first scene where they like introduce Recca. Like, it starts with a little flashback, Recca being sent forward 400 years in the future, whatever, to present day Japan, in the 90s. And then like the next thing we see is him and Domon having like a scrap in the schoolyard or whatever.
Yeah.
And like everything I came to like about Domon was just kind of just because like, oh yeah, he's Kuwabara. He's Kuwabara and I like Kuwabara, so I like him, I guess.
Yeah.
But like when you actually look at like what we saw on the screen, like no, he's nowhere close.
No, yeah. Well, and especially there's a point around the 3rd episode where he takes off his like school jacket and you see him just like in baggy t-shirts. I'm like, this isn't working for me.
Yeah.
He's not like, not that Kuwabara was like a super muscle guy, but they always designed him to look like a big dude. And like when this guy takes off his jacket, all of a sudden he doesn't look like a big dude, you know?
Yeah. Domon kind of like, again, just because he's a shorthand for Kuwabara, like kind of has that sort of, maybe not the same boncho look that Kuwabara's got going on, but like that, the jacket and like that sort of like silhouette that he cuts with it has a certain, like it gives you a certain idea, like this is like a delinquent, this is a rough and tumble, you know, roughneck type of guy. But then like we switch to the summer uniforms and he's just in a regular short sleeved white button up shirt like everybody else. There's no part where he goes like, I'm gonna, you know, change this thing about my uniform to make it more like me because like, you know, individualism is really important to me and because I'm a, you know, tough dude, whatever. Like, just dressed like everybody else. And then Towards the end of what we watched, like episode 5 or whatever, the ninjas, excuse me, go out to rescue the princess, brown hair girl, Yanagi. Fucking Recca has his whole ninja gear. Yeah. He's got the fishnets, he's got the face mask, he's got the whole nine. Fuko, I think her name is, wears this like green tank top and like is kind of, looks like she's ready to rumble. Yeah, this motherfucker comes out dressed like Charlie Brown.
Dude, yeah, it was killing me because like, yeah, the two, Fuko and Rika, like they both great outfits, and then the other guy was like something you'd wear when like you just didn't give a shit.
He did, yeah.
Like not
t-shirt and jorts.
Yeah, basically, like if you were like, oh, I gotta run some errands today. Yeah,
or it's laundry day or something.
It's just like, and it's like that would be fine in real life, but this is anime. Yeah, this man is next to him is dressed like a ninja, and this is how you're gonna make this guy.
Yeah.
So disappointing.
We haven't seen him. I feel like Kuwabara also gets his power kind of late in the game compared to the rest of them.
Kinda, yeah.
But like this dude, we're infiltrating the manor where the princess is being held. Again, super Yu Yu Hakusho vibes. Like we're about to fight in the hallway where Yusuke transvestigates his opponent for some fucking. What a weird fucking episode that was.
Yeah, I guess we can say that.
1 point for Flame of Recca there. One huge advantage. Doesn't have some like wildly transphobic moment out of nowhere. Jesus Christ.
That never comes up again. That never comes up before.
Yeah. It was such a pure distilled version of the like, oh yeah, this anime I really love, gonna show it to a buddy of mine, and then it's random transphobia or something. Yeah. It's fucking it's episode 1 Gargantua on the Verger's planet all over again.
God damn it. Yeah.
But even then, we're storming the manor. Dude is still just a high schooler.
Yeah. 100%.
He doesn't even do ninja shit like the other two do. Like, what's her name's got the darts, and this dude's got his Rekka's got his firecrackers and stuff. Like, even though they're just like LARPing up to this point, it just so happens that they both inherit ninja powers or whatever. This dude is just a dude.
He has not developed any kind of power. Because like, even Kuwabara, he comes up a few times. You see him fight several times.
Yeah.
So he's like, got that going. And then before he gets his like energy sword thing and he's at the Genkai thing, he still is like, oh, I can like sense.
Yeah, he's got a spirit sensitivity or whatever.
Like they build up his character. What can this guy like and fucking Domon, like he's this is the Domon hate episode. We're gonna talk about nothing about this show except how we hate Domon and love Kuwabara. It's like in the first scene, like it's like the second or third episode, he shows up. Rika's about to get hit by like a wind blast, and he blocks it with like a fucking street sign or something.
Yeah, he pulled off like a no parking sign from somewhere.
Yeah,
and uses it as a shield.
And he's like punching down like walls and stuff like that, and then you just get none of that in later episodes.
Yeah.
Like, oh, it's like here's these two cool ninjas and some schlub.
Yeah,
we don't even care about.
That's one thing, is that like he demonstrates like evidence of super strength essentially. Yes. And that's like in that first schoolyard tussle we see, like Recca jumps over a wall, like a stone wall, and then Domon like fucking Kool-Aid Man's through it.
Yeah.
But like this is a 90s anime. There's so much slapstick silly shit going on.
Right.
That we have no idea if that's actually happening diegetically. Like, is that actually him being way too fucking strong for a teenager or a human in general, or is that him like being super strong and just nobody's paying, or is that just them being like silly about it?
Yeah, I mean? There's no, because like obviously like when they turn into like chibi forms, like that's not literally happening.
Yeah,
but like it's really hard to piece together like what his fucking deal is, and I don't think it cares.
I don't think so either.
And so I don't. I guess I don't know, or like I can't. I want to.
Yeah.
To move on from that, I want to talk. We've been saying ninja this entire episode. This dub is so weird.
It is.
Like this is a great, like kind of like rough dub.
Yeah.
Like if you want to have some beers and hang out with your friends and watch like a good bad dub, I think this is like kind of cream of the crop right now.
I feel like by like, because this came out 94 97. The anime came out.
The anime came out, and I believe this dub came out in like 2004.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I
did not know that.
When I was looking up the voice actors for the English dub, it listed Flame of Recca and then it would say 2004.
Got it. Okay.
So my guess is that's when it.
So it came to the States much later. That makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
Okay. So by mid 2000s, anime like dub performance, especially for like something that's not, this isn't your Naruto, Bleach, One Piece type stuff. This is your, kind of bargain bin anime type thing.
Yeah.
Like by those standards, pretty decent. I think it's good enough to not be grating most of the time is the best thing I can say about it.
Right. Yeah. It's definitely something where like it's not like obviously terrible.
Yeah. There's some line reads that like really hit the ear wrong.
But yeah, that's really the issue is like I don't know how they chose to translate their stuff, but like I felt like we were watching the show at like 0.75 speed. Some of the sentences were just too long.
Yeah. That
people were saying, and it's like that's such a good like you don't have that anymore.
It's especially it's Kage Hoshi or whatever.
Yeah.
Spoilers, it's Rekka's mom. She speaks so slowly. Like every time she talks, like she has to like really enunciate every single syllable. Like 400 years ago, the Hokage clan developed a technique for immortality, and I was cursed with this immortality, and I cannot die. I have watched all of my friends pass away, and like, okay, we can
just a little
hit the YouTube like 1.25x.
I know there's like there's a part where she's like, and if you're not able to rescue them, then they will die.
That part's so good.
And there's no like sting, there's no like like something like interrupted. It's just you're just staring at her not doing anything, and then she goes die.
Yeah.
It's like the fuck. But like it's so fun.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways. Like again, you don't have dubs like this anymore. Like
they're too good nowadays.
Yeah. And it's so funny because the English side of it is so weird, but then they'll get the Japanese pronunciation just dead on, or at least so far as I can tell, or at least like they're trying to get it right.
There's an obvious like really serious attempt to pronounce the Japanese words correctly.
Yeah,
like kind of to a distracting degree.
Yeah,
half the time.
Right, because they'll just be saying nonsense, and then they'll say something in that's like clearly like the Japanese word, or they'll say several Japanese words.
Yeah.
And my brain is like, what the fuck is happening? it really like it feels like somebody speaking a different language. I guess technically they are in the middle of like just a sentence that was already kind of hard to absorb in your brain.
Yeah. It also like, and this is just, two Japanese units in college. There's like a couple of words that they do kind of fuck up, which makes it so much more noticeable because everything else. Yanagi, the princess, the love interest character, she introduces herself a few times and she will say, "My name is Yanagi Sakoshita," and I'm like, everything else, like all these other words are like pronounced so correctly that it's weird that she says Sakoshita instead of Sakoshita. So I'm like, we didn't listen to that word.
We didn't. Yeah,
that's the one. That's the one.
They couldn't get that one.
Like apparently. Naruto figured that one out.
Yeah,
like his name's Sasuke, not Sasuke. It's a devoicing thing. But like, yeah. So it's super minor nitpick, all things considered. But like,
but it adds to the entertainment. I feel like right. Like this is a show to like sit around and like kind of like it's not fair to the people who made it, but it's so fun to nitpick all these little issues. Like you could be watching it and you'll be watching a scene and it's like totally fine, and then somebody will just say like the longest sentence you've ever heard in your entire life, and you're just like, all right.
Okay.
Fuck. What is happening? Like she's still talking.
Yeah. There was like it was fun both just like on its face, like the action scenes were actually pretty solid.
Yes. Yeah.
but then when there's just the dialogue, like the story happening, it's just super fun to make fun of.
God, yeah. Yeah, let's talk about the animation too.
Yeah.
So this is done by the same studio. I think you said they did Naruto.
They did Naruto. They did Yu Yu Hakusho, actually.
Oh, that's extra funny.
Yeah.
Wow.
They've done like a bunch of like the big, I think they did Bleach. I could be not wrong right about that. But like they've done a bunch of like big name shonen anime.
Yeah.
Yeah, and similar to some parts of Naruto, when the action is going on, great. When it's not so great.
Not so great.
The Kurama knockoff, especially his fucking face. He looks like what's his ass from Neko Sugar Girls. What is going on?
There's this really great part in the second episode where the Kage gives Fuko the amulet that gives her wind powers, right? Yeah. And it's when she uses the amulet, it's like this really like scratchy kind of drawing.
They go into
like,
the pencil dimension.
Yeah, and it's like it's kind of stylized and it's pretty cool.
Yeah,
and it's like a good animated bit. And I was like, okay, that was a cool way to do that.
Yeah.
And then the shot immediately following it is like this weird like. We're just at the wrong angle for like Fuko, and so she's become like 50% chin, and
her face is all up
hella
here.
small, and it's like, and it's like a long shot where you're just like, the fuck,
Yeah.
What did they draw it that way? What the fuck? And it was constantly with the Kurama knockoff too. Like he would just, it was like, like if you can draw a face, you draw it from a certain angle,
yeah,
and then you just try to like shift it a little bit and all of a sudden it's just like fuck, like you can't, it's all and that's what it felt like everybody was really good at drawing a very particular angle of anime character, and then the second they had to have them turn or do anything, it's like I don't know where to put the fucking eyeballs.
Yeah, it was again, like none of these things I really felt like detracted from my enjoyment of the show.
They added to it.
Yeah, honestly, yeah, it would have been less fun without it. This is some good old boys fucking shonen bullshit.
God, yeah, absolutely. Well, and it was really like to dunk on the Kurama knockoff too. One, I never learned his name. It was just Kurama like forever.
Ooh, I heard it and I tried so hard to like make a mental note of it and I just couldn't.
No, but there's a great part where he's talking to Kage and he's like there's this long shot of the two of them talking and it's like from the side and he's got this ponytail, but his ponytail is not touching his back.
Yeah.
It's like floating above his back.
Yeah.
He's got like an invisible force field around him or something. And it's just, and it's like, you wouldn't notice it except that the shot is so long that you're just like,
they really sit on that one.
Hold on. But yeah, it's just there's just so many little fucking mistakes. I love it.
The Hall of Mirrors fight between him and Recca was really fun.
That is maybe the worst Hall of Mirrors like anything I've ever seen. Like Hall of Mirrors is such a fun thing to have.
It's a classic staple in like action movies.
Yeah, and I don't. By the end of it, I'm like, I don't know if they know what mirrors are.
Yeah, I'm not certain they have seen a mirror and understand how it works.
Yeah,
that played like someone who learned the concept of mirrors from watching Enter the Dragon.
Yeah,
and was like, yeah, I think I get it. Okay,
yeah, it lets you be anywhere.
Yeah,
that's what it does.
Yeah,
because the Hall of Mirrors is so fucking good because it's like it's not a labyrinth. It's literally two walls and they have mirrors hallway on either side. It is a literal hallway of mirrors, and it's like, and fucking Recca is just punching like, oh, I almost got him, and then he punches like, how did you lose him?
Just look straight ahead.
Just like.
And then there's the part. So Recca goes for this dive kick on Waterman, and Waterman stabs into him, like he pierces his abdomen.
Yeah.
And then the Recca shatters, and it turns out that Recca threw a mirror at him and was actually standing behind him, charging a fire punch.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's not how this works
That's
at all.
Not how mirrors work.
That's not how any of this shit works. That wasn't even a ninja technique or anything either.
Right. Because like they don't establish what ninja abilities he has necessarily.
He does the substitution jutsu against Domon in like the first 5 minutes. Never really does it again.
Never touches it again. Yeah, and like there's no the stuff he does as a ninja is all very like realistic for the most part, right? Like he sets a booby trap that like, you know, is like a pit that he covered.
Yeah.
Right. You know, he's got like caltrops, stuff
Firecrackers, smoke bombs, a net, things like that.
So
yeah.
the mirror thing is like a huge outlier.
Yeah.
That makes zero sense. And again, do they know what mirrors are?
I don't know.
But it cycles around to being like so dumb. I love it so much.
100%.
Yeah. Oh God, incredible.
And it's like the action is just good enough for me to like get into it, you know? I can get into it and make fun of it, kind of like it walks that line so perfectly.
Yeah. No, it really feels like they are like, we're going to put a lot of effort into making the fight scenes cool because that's what is going to make this show cool.
Yeah.
Everything else, we will just fucking spend like 5 minutes on it, you know? Like, I don't think the people drawing the faces that look fucked up are bad artists. I think it's more likely that they only had a little bit of time to do
I
that,
agree, yeah.
You know, and it's like, do I go in and do I get this right, or do I just finish this and move on?
Yeah, because I mean, as I understand, like, and maybe this is just because the statistic is like presented as such, but I always see artists or like, you know, animators on these, you know, the rank and file animators just like doing the frames and stuff like that. They always talk about their pay as like, you know, X dollars per frame. You know what I mean? So like these people are probably, they got to crank them out super, super quick.
100%. Yeah.
And you know, I can't imagine the timeline on such a thing was forgiving back then.
No, I mean, weekly anime is such a fucking pain to try to do.
Yeah.
You know? So yeah, you're double incentivized to just fuck it. All right, her chin's huge. Whatever.
Yeah,
you know?
fuck it. Do not have time for that shit.
Yeah. So I totally get it.
Mhm.
Yeah. Fucking. But I love it, man.
Yeah.
You just don't really see, like, these days when you see bad or like, yeah, when you see like bad animation, it's pretty much always like weird computer graphics, you know?
Yeah.
The PS2 people in the Flash.
Of
you
course,
know, the weird looking cars or something. Just something where it's like we don't have time to like hand draw a car or something like that.
Yeah.
But this is just so much more fun, so much more special.
Yeah.
I love that there is a villain whose eyes look in two different directions. Like he's kind of like a Frankenstein kind of guy. And you know it's on purpose, but you also don't.
There's so many other fucked up faces happening that I'm like, you're like, this is intentional, yes?
Yeah, right? He's supposed to be like that. He's like that in the theme song, so...
Yeah. He
right.
really looks like Boris Karloff Frankenstein. and he's like a super billionaire or whatever. And like there's several points where people go, or at least a few points where people express surprise that he's like doing evil shit.
Yeah.
Like, how, like, if Bill Gates looked like Frankenstein, I think it would be even easier to be like, oh yeah, he totally kills people. Of course he does.
100%.
You know, he doesn't have to look like Frankenstein for me to think he's up to evil shit. Of course he is. But like this guy especially. I mean, hey, kudos for not judging based on looks. Maybe when you live in a world where faces are drawn off model quite frequently, you just go like, hey, it is what it is.
We judge people based on their character.
But he donates to charity.
He donates to charity. How could he be evil? God, so good.
Maybe tax write-offs work differently in Japan. I don't know.
Could be. Let's talk about the music real quick. Opening theme song, didn't really care for it. Outro, fucking banger.
The outro rules, yeah.
Yeah.
I warmed up to a lot of the music choices, but like because we in the first episode he gets into like fight or whatever with Kage Hoshi, and the song that's playing is not your you know a high flying, you know, shonen anime fight scene music.
Yeah.
It's like I can't really remember how it went, but it like is yeah,
it's pretty tame. It's just like guitar and drum.
Yeah,
but not even like exciting guitar. It's like you'd have this over like I've got to get to school on time. And even that would be maybe too tame.
I feel like at most like training montage music.
Yeah,
but not like a super hype like Rocky or Hajime no Ippo training montage. Just like a, you know, you gotta
time is passing.
You're getting your push-ups, your sit-ups, you're running your miles or whatever. That kind of thing, you know.
Yeah,
but he's locked in Mortal Kombat with a deadly adversary.
Yeah, it's like he's about to die. What's her face is about to die, and all right, this is music.
Yeah.
You know?
I
Yeah.
enjoyed the song. I just strange place for it.
Strange play for it. Yeah, I think that's kind of the thing that I have with the show is like none of the songs really got me more excited.
Yeah.
You know? There was never that moment where I'm like, oh, I wish the theme song would kick in right now.
That's like
know?
kind of the damning thing you can say about the theme song is if the theme song kicked in during a fight scene, I'm not certain we would have noticed.
Oh, you know, that's a good point.
Yeah. I don't think it did. Just because I don't remember vocals happening.
That's a good point.
But yeah, if it did, we probably wouldn't have noticed.
Wouldn't have noticed.
Which is that's not good. You got to fix that.
Yeah. You gotta have that banger theme. Because even I don't know if the theme ever kicks in Yu Yu Hakusho, and it's not like a battle theme necessarily. But
Smile
like,
Bomb would be really weird to use in a whatchamacallit. Smile Bomb, that's the name of it.
Oh, I have no idea.
I think that's the yeah, that.
Yeah, great song. But like that's
Not a
great
fight scene song though.
Not a fight scene song, but like, hey, we did it. We killed the demon guy. You know, now we're gonna go, be best friends back at the fucking city or whatever. You know?
The Hajime no Ippo, like the training montage. I think before he fights Miyata.
Yeah.
And they'd use the opening. Fucking killer.
Yeah. That made me go from like, I like the theme song, but it's maybe not for me, to like, theme song fucking rules.
Yeah.
And now I'm actively upset that they changed it later.
Yeah, that second theme song, like the second theme song took me a while to warm up to in Hajime no Ippo, but like it got to a similar point.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think they have a similar moment, like he's training for another fight and they do it again. And
It's like,
it still hits. It still hits every time.
I figured it out.
Yeah.
Dang it. We never really had any training moments in this show. I kind of expected there to be one. Like when they are in the 5th episode, they're talking to Kage and she's like, if you go do this thing, you will die. I'm like, okay, now then do a training montage.
Yeah.
And it felt like there was a training montage that got like cut or something. Because now he's got his ninja outfit. Now they're like taking out guards like it's nothing.
Yeah.
And like, not to say it's like unbelievable or bad or whatever, but I'm just like, I feel like that's a missed opportunity.
Definitely wasted potential for sure. I was certain that was going to happen because right before this, they go and they meet up with their Japanese history teacher, who is both Japanese and a teacher of Japanese history.
Yeah.
It's a confusing sense, but
the sentence really threw me for a loop for a minute there.
Yeah. But he's like a ninja enthusiast scholar type guy, and the next time on Flame of Recca thing, they go like, oh, finally I found a teacher who knows about ninja, and I'm like, oh, okay, this guy is gonna give Recca that first level up. You know, like he's gonna help him get to that next level. He's gonna be his ninja teacher. No, he is literally just a teacher who knows about ninja. That is what he is. Yeah. He doesn't know what they do or how they do it. He just knows a lot about them.
Yeah. He knows a lot about Rekka's clan, I guess.
Yeah, the
and
Hokage clan.
And that they have like artifacts, but it's like, oh, no way. I could have never figured out that they have artifacts, considering everybody's talking about these fucking magical artifacts.
Yeah, everyone's got one already.
Yeah.
There was only one more fucking Shen Gongwu that they had to fucking Shaolin Showdown reference. There was only one more fucking artifact that they had to run into anyway. And then the kid shows up with it seconds later.
Yeah.
So it's like, all right, well, that's great that you explained to us that we've already had all this other shit explained to us over several episodes.
Yeah.
Like there's this arm thing that can control wind, and there's this sword that is made of water, and that makes it better for some reason. And then there's this pole arm, halberd, sword, pizza cutter thing, and then the kid shows up with the pole arm, halberd, sword, pizza cutter thing, and you're like, oh, there it is. All right, we're done.
I remember, I think they said the Japanese name for the halberd pizza cutter thing in the dub, and then in the sub, because we watched that clip, they say like, it's the halberd of golden darkness. I'm like, I feel like I missed out. How do you not say the halberd of golden darkness?
I think I did hear the word halberd in the dub. I don't know, like, because I think we were like talking when you mentioned it or something like that. Yeah, that is the best name out of all the other ones, because like the wind one is just like Fujin, named after the Japanese god of wind, and then there's the Ensui is
the
the water sword. Yeah. I think Rekka's armband thing is supposed to be one too, but they never mentioned it once.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Because they talk about it like it's his power, like it, from in here.
Yeah, but hey,
but it always comes from that hand.
Yeah,
and only.
Yeah, it's got to be that. Like, if he loses it, can he still do it? Guess we'll find out.
They have never acknowledged the existence of that thing on his.
That's a
wrist.
good point. Yeah, it's just a part of his body.
Apparently,
that's so weird.
Yeah,
that's so funny though. God, I love it. Speaking of Recca, it's also really entertaining that he. In the 6 episodes we watch, he wins one fight.
Yeah. Like, he comes out on top a few times, but it's always because someone had to save his ass or something like that. I think him versus we got Kurama at home is like the only fight he actually just wins. One-on-one.
Yeah, where he uses the weird mirror trick. And, that's that.
He just had physics on his side, or they decided physics didn't matter for that moment.
Yeah, it really, like, if I was watching the show and I was being more critical about it, it would be like kind of a not great choice, because it acts like he's winning all the time. The show has the tone of like, he's our hero, he's here to save the day, but it's like, is he though? Like, he's kind of just getting his ass beat left and right and just not really, and like, yeah, okay, people are coming out on top, but like this, I don't know.
Yeah.
And he's not like winning in like a clever way, like, oh, I got my ass kicked, but by getting my ass kicked, your hands hurt more, and now you're gonna go fail the fucking hand test or whatever. It's like, there's never anything like that. He just happens to also win.
Yeah, I feel like you're totally right. Like, kind of his and everyone's reaction to his like barely squeaking out because someone helped him out at the last second or something, like when Kuwabara shows up at the to fight Fuko with him.
Mm-hmm.
Stuff like that. But like, at no point does he ever go like, wow, I would have like literally died if it hadn't been for this thing helping me out here. Like, maybe I should train, maybe I should do this to make sure that doesn't happen. He loses, like, just straight up, like, full TKO just done, loses the first fight against the Kurama character, and is so dejected about it for the full, like, the whole next episode practically. And you're like, that's been happening to you this whole time, my guy.
Yeah. Like Wind Girl, Fuko beats him up.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like basically gonna win until she fucks up and summons a tornado that she can't control. And that's kind of what does her in, is essentially, and now they're just trying to save her.
Yeah.
But prior to that, she was like about ready to destroy him.
He does. They explain it super fucking weird, but like he damages the crystal on her manacle thing, and that causes her to snap back to herself for a moment. And then Kage goes like, well, wind plus fire equals your powers are stronger now, which means that you're back under my control. And then it's like, okay. Yeah, so like, you could technically call that a win before she does the tornado thing, but even then, that was with Kuwabara's help. Like, he had definitely shown up and bailed him out a couple of times. He was gonna be like toast before that.
Yeah, and I think it's Kuwabara who like knocks her out of her first trance too, because he like grabs her. He's like, "Why are you doing this?"
Oh, you might be right, actually. Yeah.
So I don't even know if our boy does anything.
Yeah.
In the first episode, he fights Kage and doesn't really win that. Kage's just kind of playing with him more than anything else. Yeah, doesn't like, he wins the wind fight, but like, come on.
Yeah.
Gets his ass beat by water sword guy. Then wins finally, like true wins, and then gets his ass beat by the child with the halberd of golden darkness.
Yeah,
and then they beat up some thugs or whatever in like the 6th episode, like some
henchmen.
The henchmen guys. Yeah, and it's like, but like, who gives a shit? Like, they're just there to be thrown.
Yeah, exactly. And they're doing like slapstick shit to them half the time.
Yeah,
like, Kuwabara grabs 2 of their heads and knocks them together. He's like, "Oh, I'm the strong one." Like, okay.
Yeah.
It was, now that like we've talked about it, it does like really bug me how Recca wins that fight against the water guy, and it's not even like a I've done something to get stronger or something. He's just like, got my groove back, baby. I'm back on top. I'm number one. I'm the best ninja. It's like, no, you're not. Actually, you need to understand that you would have died if anybody hadn't stepped in for any of those other fights.
Yeah, it's just like a dissonance with the show.
Yeah, it makes all the like the determination that he shows, like, you know, when somebody mentions to him, like, what if you're not strong enough to save the princess Yanagi or whatever? He's like, if I fail to save my princess, I'll kill myself. And like, that sounds like determination on its face, but like when you realize that, like, no, that would have happened so many times already. It's like, no, you're just being stupid. It's bravado at that point.
Yeah, he's just performing.
Yeah. Which, to be fair, up until a few weeks prior, he was just LARPing as a ninja kid the whole time.
Dude.
It just so happens that the person he decided to become his princess is an actual healing priestess lady, and he's the descendant of a super great ninja clan.
It's so dorky because it's like he's just running around like a ninja. Like he's just like a Naruto cosplayer or something, you know? And then it gets even worse when they introduce Fuko in the second episode, and she's doing it as well.
Yeah.
And it's like, you've been doing this for 10 years now? What the fuck?
Yeah. They are about that shit ever since they were little ass kids.
Yeah, it's like... she's like throwing darts around and stuff. Like, it's so dorky.
There's a Japanese word, chunibyo, which quite literally translates to eighth grader syndrome. And it's that idea. It's like, you know, kids, like, you know, your head's in the clouds. You just love your comic books and anime or whatever, and you're like, you know, pretending to be a ninja or a Power Ranger or whatever. Like, that is exactly what's going on here.
Totally.
Like, this dude is just, you know, playing fantasy the whole time.
Absolutely.
And but like, I feel like in a lot of situations that'll happen, and then big transformation, big reveal or whatever, and then he has to learn to actually be this thing he was pretending to be.
Yeah.
But like, Recca is, for all intents and purposes, an actual ninja, just because he's been pretending to be, I guess.
Totally. Yeah, and it's like,
he LARPed so good at it that he actually did the thing, I guess, which is cool. But like, we don't acknowledge that. That's just how it is, you know.
Yeah.
Anime logic.
And the idea, I think, is from Kage's perspective, is that she's training him by putting him in these like bad situations.
That's true.
So you can kind of say that all of the fights up to that thing are training, but that's a cop out. That's not training.
I mean, she does. Like, she says as much that, like, oh, you had to fight what's his name to make your powers stronger or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. I just feel like there was more intent on Rekka's part about it. Like, he's actually trying to like be a better version of himself rather than like, well, episode says I got to fight this guy. Guess I'm fighting this guy.
Yep.
You know, Goku would never.
Yeah.
Naruto would never. You know how much fucking episodes we spend just watching Naruto get better at a thing?
I feel like we're so fucking deep in the weeds where like we're like, yeah, Shonen Battle Show, good, but not enough training. Like and I agree with what
training
we're saying.
is a super important part.
But it's such a like funny thing to be like nitpicking about. You know, it's like, I want a scene where like he's like punching a bag, or he's like training to use his fire, and then he goes and does it.
Yeah,
because I think it's not that I want the training montage; it's that I want the part after the training montage where he is using a new skill that he learned while he was training.
And I know that comes in later, like from what I've read of the manga years and years and years ago. Like I know that he develops all these like very specific techniques and stuff like that. Like he's very intentional about it. Whatnot. I have to imagine there's a lot of training shit that goes on. Or maybe he just makes it up mid-fight. Who the fuck knows? He does with that the copycat guy. So
yeah,
maybe. Yeah, it's just that I don't like having like, you know, they call it having a case of the shoulds. You know, like this should be like this, but the training montage and all that exists for a reason. Like, we want to see the character work towards getting stronger, not just like be forced into it. And it feels like we're just kind of grabbing Recca by the wrist and like dragging him along on this progression, which doesn't make you care for the character as much, I don't think.
Yeah, it really feels like it's like taking all of these like shonen tropes and just kind of putting them, and it's like, okay, and then he does this because that's what you do in a shonen show. And then he goes here and he does this, and it's like there's not quite the connectivity or the character development to really make it work.
Yeah.
Because okay. The other thing that it was weird to me too is like his dad. I'm just gonna say
Air quotes.
He's like a fireworks maker, and Recca works with him, and they make fireworks. But I don't really know because I feel like him having fireworks should be like a big part of his character.
You would
right?
think, yeah.
Like he has fire powers. He uses his knowledge of fireworks to make ninja equipment. But we know nothing about how he learned that, like what his dad does. Like we know nothing about any of that.
Yeah. His dad hits him with a pretty impressive sidekick to the head in the first episode.
Ooh, your camera's going to be wiggling here.
Oh.
Anya's checking out the cameras.
Yeah, she's kind of climbing around on our setup
on our
here.
equipment.
What's it called? Yeah, I thought because in Bleach, I believe it is, Ichigo's dad is revealed, chapters and chapters and chapters into the thing. It's revealed that his dad is like an ex-Soul Reaper, like that he's been kind of guiding Ichigo very slyly from behind the scenes to like put him on this path and stuff. But as far as Ichigo knows, like that's just my goofy old man. Like, what does he know? So like that immediately gave me the idea here, like, oh yeah, we're getting like Mr. Miyagi'd into this like ninja situation. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
But like his dad shows up like 3 times and doesn't do anything besides smoke cigarettes and like smack what's his name a couple of times.
Like the implication being that like because they fight each other, that maybe this is where he learned to fight. But apparently his dad did a shit job because he doesn't really fight well.
Yeah. I mean, not on
until
that
he
level,
suddenly
anyway.
needs to.
Yeah.
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 Silly.
It is silly.
Yeah,
Silly's a good word for it.
I don't know. I feel like there's things you could do in the time where you're not having fights, and they just don't. They don't build up the characters. They're just moving along, and
we said as much while we were watching it, but we haven't used the word just yet. So much of Flame of Recca, and I say this with love, so much of Flame of Recca, what we've seen so far feels like fan fiction.
Yeah.
It feels like Yu Yu Hakusho fan fiction, and it just feels like just the anime trope, like this is how you do the thing, but like without, and can't say anything about the manga, can't say anything about like how the original source material was written. All we've seen is the anime, but like there's just little bits missing that make me feel like there's not a complete understanding of like how this this goes.
Yeah, and I think beyond it too, it has nothing really original in it. It's all kind of, if you told an AI to make a shonen anime show, this is kind of what it would spit out. It's
Circa
kind of,
1997, yeah, totally.
Yeah, it's pretty derivative of a lot of shonen stuff, and it's not doing anything better than other things. Like constantly I was watching like, oh, they're doing this thing. I liked it when this other show did this thing.
Yeah.
Frequently it was Yu Yu Hakusho, but like all sorts of other stuff. And like, it's not to say that everything this show does is bad. It's just, it's seen it done better in a different show.
Yeah.
And there's nothing that it's bringing to the table that I can be like, oh, but I do love this. It's like, no, it's all derivative.
Yeah. There's a couple of parts that I think like I've seen in anime that came after it, which I, to be generous, maybe that's where like Flame of Recca was the originator of it. Like, when he fights the kid with the halberd of golden darkness, and he gets like, he gets drugged by the other guy, the wood guy.
Yeah.
He manages to break out, like, regain control of his body by stabbing himself with a kunai. And that same thing is done in Naruto, which came out afterwards, as I'm aware.
Yeah.
I think Sasuke and the gang are like, someone casts like a hypnosis spell on him or whatever, and then like Sasuke like jumps in and is able to save them, even though he's supposed to be like not able to move because he stabbed himself in the leg with a knife as soon as he felt it happening, and like the pain kept his like mind alert enough for him to do that. So like there's little bits and pieces where like it happens so similarly that I'm like, did we get that from Flame of Recca? Or did we get that from something that came out in the 80s or whatever? Who knows?
But hypnosis, that sounds like a better version of it, though, because it doesn't make sense to me that he's being paralyzed by spores,
Yeah.
then is somehow able to regain the ability to grab a knife and then stab himself, and that brings him out of, like, if he was hypnotized, I would totally get like the pain making it so, but like it's spores.
Yeah, spores is a little different, but like, maybe that, like, the adrenaline of it or something. Yeah, you could pseudoscience your way out of that pretty easily, I think. Yeah, there's a part where someone casts a jutsu and they do all the same like mudras you see in the hand signs you see in Naruto, and I'm like, that probably came from something. Oh, it came from like depictions of the Buddha originally, but like the way that they do that, maybe that's where it came from, or that was the iteration of it that Naruto took. Who knows? Yeah, I mean. Maybe there was something like that's the part that I guess frustrated. Like, there's some parts that I'm like, did Flame of Recca come up with that, or is that just from something else that I haven't seen?
Yeah, no, same. It's like, well, and like when we were watching it, it was like, this feels like a ripoff of Yu Yu Hakusho, but did Yu Yu Hakusho get it from this?
Yeah.
I'm really curious about what its influence and like what it did, because I have to assume that the anime must not have been hugely successful like Yu Yu Hakusho and whatnot.
Sure.
Just considering the fact that it only has like 40 episodes, and like the manga sounds like it goes like well beyond what it is.
Yeah.
Whereas like
the manga ran for a couple more years after the anime finished.
Yeah. Whereas like Yu Yu Hakusho, I know it's like its ending is rushed, but I believe it still covers the entirety of the manga.
Yeah.
So it had enough to at least do that.
Yeah.
So
who knows? I mean, there's all sorts of, but yeah, I think safe to say, just based on its like reputation that it's had like throughout the years, like I don't think Flame of Recca is like really on that same level of like popularity and notoriety of like a lot of the other, the big shonen.
Yeah.
We used the term AA games earlier. This is like a AA shonen anime.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. I'm really curious. One thing you brought up too before we started recording was that you heard about this like on forum sites and things where like everybody was speaking like either like Spanish or Portuguese or something.
Yeah.
And I'm really curious, like, if somehow you're out there and you grew up watching Flame of Recca, like what was that experience like? Or, I'm curious what like the show must have had enough appeal to like people. Like what was it? Like,
yeah.
How did the show get released and whatnot?
I'd be very curious to hear that perspective. Yeah, because you're totally right. Like so much of it seemed as though the show was a much bigger deal in like Latin America than maybe it was here. Because like I saw pictures and like sprites from the video game and stuff, and I'm like, oh, this looks cool, and I was like Googling around about it in like 2004 or whatever, and like so much of what I saw about it was in Spanish or maybe possibly Portuguese.
Yeah,
maybe. I can tell the difference now most of the time. Sure couldn't as a 13-year-old tell you that. So yeah. Yeah, who knows?
I'm super curious about it. Like, this is a show that even though I've been like kind of dunking on it, like I'm so curious about it.
I enjoyed what we watched quite a bit. This could very well be like develop into like a comfort show for me.
100%. No, I guess to get to the reviews here, this is like a keep watching for me, but in that coveted spot where it's like, I want us to keep watching.
Oh yeah,
like
totally.
We got to hang out, get some beers, and like watch more Flame of Recca.
Name the day, I will be here.
Yeah. Dude, it's so like I don't think I would watch it. I might watch it on my own.
I could see a situation in which I put it on. I could see a situation in which I put it on in the background pretty easily.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
But yeah, I do like the idea of us getting together and just like watching more of it.
Yeah, because it's so fun to point at the screen and go, why is that way? Why, and
yeah.
Like, I mean, I think this is maybe the hardest I've laughed and really like in a while for a show.
Yeah, now that you mention it, I don't think I can think of one that we laughed harder at besides maybe X-Arm.
The part where the guy goes like, these ninjas had incredible powers, like they were able to jump over walls several feet high. It's like several feet.
I don't think you got to be a ninja to do that, my guy.
Yeah.
Like maybe I can't jump over a wall several feet high.
Yeah.
Like I know people who can.
Yeah, like getting over a like 2-foot wall is like not an impossible task.
I could do 2 feet.
Yeah.
I could do I could probably hop I could hop like 3 feet and below, easy, no problem.
Easy.
Like,
yeah,
you know,
You're a
maybe
ninja.
not no contact, but like, you know, I could vault something. Yeah,
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah. I learned how to do a safety vault. It's not that hard.
Yeah. God, so good. Yeah. So how about you? Where's your rating?
100% same. Totally keep watching. I think if you hadn't brought up the prospect of us like getting together and watching it, like I would have probably turned it on in the next couple of days.
Yeah.
I don't know that it's like I probably wouldn't have just like I'm going to watch Flame of Recca tonight and like sit down and just like zero in on it.
100%.
But yeah, like I'm doing something on the computer or whatever. Like that could go up on my second monitor anytime.
Yeah, very easily. Yeah. It's interesting though, like, because I think that like it's absolutely a background kind of anime, like just on the second monitor. Like I totally agree. But there is a part of me that it's almost like something like Monogatari or something like that, where it's like it's so visually compelling that you have to watch it
in a very different way, but yeah. And
you know,
and like the Monogatari series is like also so like dialogue dense. Like so much of that show is just two characters sitting around while wacky shit happens or sitting around talking while just like really pretty shit happens on the screen. Like just like beautiful shots of like a playground or a I don't know, mountain road or something.
Yeah. Just one of the most beautiful shows ever made.
Yeah. It's talk about shows that are difficult to recommend because like I've felt such like, you know, sublime watching that show, but like at the same time, then someone mentions like the toothbrush scene from Nisei Monogatari, and I'm like, yep. Can't ever let someone know I've watched that and enjoy it. Well, I didn't enjoy that scene, but you know, can't ever let someone know that I've enjoyed this show.
Right. Yeah. I've really only watched the first part, the really light girl with the scissors.
Oh.
And the second part with there's the little girl with the turtle.
Mayoi, the
turtle backpack or something.
She's a snail. Yeah.
Snail. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen both those parts and I really liked it. And I know about the toothbrush part. I've had a friend even try to justify the toothbrush part.
Ooh.
I don't know, man.
Gotta quit when you're ahead, buddy.
Yeah, you gotta. You can just not. You don't have to like every part of it.
Yeah, yeah. There's plenty I like about the series, but like if someone asks about it, I'm like, hey, I didn't make it. I don't know.
I don't know. It's not. Yeah.
Yeah.
I skipped ahead during that part.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Monogatari, like the you know, or Bake Monogatari specifically is like just really, really nice to really. I just love the conversation, like the conversations they're having paired with just like the beautiful stylized, like, you know, I've talked enough about it. I love set design and I love backgrounds.
Yeah.
And, you know, just like you show me a pretty picture of a building or a city skyline or a fucking park or whatever. I'm like, hell yeah. Love that shit. Yeah. Landscapes. Oh, can't get enough. And Bake Monogatari has like the best of those.
Yeah.
The best.
Just so good looking.
Yeah.
Damn. Yeah. And then there's this show.
Which
is also, you know, you gotta look at it.
I'll say I did enjoy like a decent amount of like the backgrounds and sets and stuff like that they had. I feel like it seems like it's trying to aim at but doesn't quite hit that same like level of the word that's coming to my mind about Yu Yu Hakusho's tone, especially like the early episodes. Like there's this sort of like tenderness, this sort of like shoujo-esque vibe to it that this show tries to hit on occasion and misses the mark by just a little bit.
Yeah, with like the Sakura tree and all that. Yeah, it's got I totally know what you mean.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it was good enough for me to be like, hey, that's nice, you know.
Yeah, and again, and that's what makes the show so fascinating in so many ways. Is that like it's everything that you've seen before, but it's not quite there, and so you're just like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
you know, like
so close.
Like, what is this? You know, and it's just one thing after another.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you're just constantly pointing at the screen. I love it.
Yeah, I'm very curious to see because, like, you know, there's plenty of series that evolve over time, and like, you know, this one's 40 episodes, but that's still like, you know, a couple seasons. It stands to reason that there were a couple of years, or like, you know, maybe a year between one season and the next. Staff changes, etc. Like, I'm curious to see what if the end of this show is any different from the beginning of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like if it does, like I there are people who say like Yu Yu Hakusho's okay, but then you get to the Dark Tournament and that's where it gets great. You know? I disagree with people who say that too. I think the show's great all the way through. All the way through the Dark Tournament, but who knows? Maybe there is going to be that Dark Tournament moment where we're like, oh shit,
Yeah.
oh, you know.
I'm still like about to get to the Dark Tournament. Like it's about to happen. I'm pretty certain.
There's a lot of about to get to the Dark Tournament before the Dark Tournament.
Seems that way.
Yeah.
Because we have that whole arc where they fight the four guardians, whatever, the Phoenix and the other guys. It's the first one where like the four boys. Are
like, yeah. There's like the tiger guy.
Yeah, there's like a tiger guy and a turtle guy and
totally.
Yeah.
Like that part.
They're based on some sort of like Chinese mythology, I think. Did that whole thing. We went to the mansion. Yusuke got all transphobic for a minute, and like I think that was like the last, like close to the last episode I watched. Not even like I'm so offended I'm going to stop. I was just like, I've been having such a good time with this show, and all of a sudden I'm like, whoa, and I'm sure that's the last of it, and it's the like rest of it's totally fine. But like as it gets more actiony for me, I enjoy it less. I really enjoyed the earlier Spirit Detective stuff, and I'm sure the Dark Tournament is sick as fuck. I'm just like, I'm in that in-between point where there's not enough of what I liked about it initially, and there's not enough of like what there is to like about the next part yet.
Yeah. Because it does take a minute to get to the Dark Tournament. There's a lot of building up. There's a lot of different things. But dude, I mean, the Dark Tournament is dope. It is just like, it's such a like everything you want from like a shonen tournament. It's like there in spades.
Okay,
like it's just like quintessential, like pure, perfect tournament arc.
Yeah. I mean, I'm excited to get there for sure.
Yeah.
I
love it.
I've heard too much about it. I've seen like random episodes on Toonami back in the day. Like I know the Dark Tournament's dope. It's just like a little bit of a slog getting there.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally fair. Yeah. But do it.
Yeah, I'm gonna do it.
Do it
for sure.
Do it.
I'm gonna do it. So we can do the live action Yu Yu Hakusho
damn it
episode in the future.
Oh no.
Yeah. It's gonna be good.
Damn you, Peter.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's gonna be a fun one.
Yeah.
And speaking of fun ones, to plug a little here, we've got our anniversary episode coming up in a couple months here.
Oh, we do.
Yeah,
that's right.
And we're gonna try to rank all the shows that we've watched, just like how a couple of years ago we did like a ranking kind of episode where we took every show that we put them all in an order. I think we got to do it again.
Yeah,
so,
I think so. I think that's the move.
that'll be good.
Yeah, I'm excited for that.
I'm excited for Flame of Recca to be number 1.
That would be interesting. I'm like off the top of my head, I can't like think of which one I like. I don't have a guess for who would be number 1. Like I'd have to like look back through what we've watched.
Yeah. Well, it's way better than like Odd Taxi. Way better than any of the Christmas stuff that we watch.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Each Christmas special is its own standalone entry.
Yeah.
Card Captor Sakura Christmas episode versus the Digimon Christmas episode. That is a tough one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do we do the Digimon versus woke ideology? Is that an anime?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
I think that's it's a stage play, but close enough.
Yeah, I'm excited for that one. If you liked this episode, we got more coming out. We release these about once a month. So you can subscribe to our YouTube channel if you're on YouTube. We're on Spotify, Podbean, and then we got a Twitter and an Instagram. And I'm off Twitter, but I'm on Instagram way more.
Yeah.
So follow us on Instagram. I post sometimes.
Yeah,
I posted today.
There you go.
You
We
figure
have
out
Yu Yu
how old this
Hakusho
is.
at home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How about you? What you got any plugs?
Just the usual 8mammoth.bandcamp.com if you'd like to listen to my music. You can also search Pockets by Octomammoth on Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube Music, Amazon Music, Tidal, fucking Napster.
Oh, shit, you're on Tidal?
I'm on Tidal.
Oh, fuck.
I put that shit on every streaming service that would let me. I use Sounddrop as my distributor. It's like DistroKid, and they were like, "Which streaming services do you want to be on?" And I said, "All of them." And they were like, "Bet." And that was not available. It sounds on TikTok because then I would have had to set up copyright, the copyright flagging thing.
Oh, that's a whole thing.
Yeah, and I was like, I don't want to do that. Like, presumptuous of me to think someone would want to use my music on like a stream or a YouTube video or something. But if someone did, go with God. That's totally fine. Yeah, but everywhere else you can listen to my album. Got more music on the way soon, hopefully. I actually had a song come out this week. The Brie Carmel released their single for their new EP coming out in May. The single's out now. Brie Earned the Power of Self-Respect, featuring Octomammoth. That's me. You can listen to it on Spotify, and I think it's on Bandcamp. Maybe it's just on Spotify. Actually, maybe just on Spotify. Search it on Spotify. Yeah. Also, twitter.com/8mammoth or x.com/8mammoth if you're bad.
If you're bad.
If you are a bad guy, you can do that. That's where you find me.
Hell yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Well, man, what a fucking great show. I can't wait to watch more of this. Yeah.
We almost watched Solo Leveling. I'm so glad we went with this one.
Dude, yeah, I was like ready for Solo Leveling, like that'll be good, or whatever. But man, when you were like, yeah, let's watch something a little bit older, I was like, all right, yeah, let's see. Man, you right fucking call. You saved the night. Fucking excellent.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Well, good episode.
Good app. Good night, everybody.